You're not family, you're just the guy who wires the money, my sister said at Christmas lunch. My uncle added, and he works in IT. They never talk, just tap. I said nothing, then canceled a $7,200 transfer that covered dinner, gifts, and heating. The oven shut off mid-turkey. You're not family. You're just the guy who wires the money. That's what my sister said. Word for word. Christmas lunch, middle of the table, everyone present. Her voice wasn't even angry, just casual, like she was explaining the rules of a board game. Like I should have known better. I blinked. My fork hovered halfway to my mouth, a piece of turkey shaking at the end. Everyone else just kept eating. Uncle Sean, mouthful of potatoes, chuckled and added, and he works in IT. What do they even do? Never talk, just tap tap tap. Then he mimicked typing on an invisible keyboard like a bad stand-up routine. Laughter followed. Not loud, not all at once, just enough to let me know it wasn't a joke to them. It was just true. It was always true. I wasn't family. I was function. A service. I didn't say anything. I didn't stand up. I didn't throw a fit or knock over a wine glass. That would have made it easier for them. Something to call dramatic. Emotional. Unstable. Instead, I reached under the table and opened my phone. Quietly. Calmly. The $7,200 transfer I'd scheduled that morning was still pending. I'd split it across 3 accounts, Mom's heating bill, Dad's credit card, and a joint account Emma used for holiday expenses, which really meant food, decorations, and all the gifts under the tree, including the one Uncle Sean would unwrap later and say, "Oh, wow, an electric back massager. Just what I needed for all my hard work doing nothing." I tapped once. Canceled. No one noticed right away. My mother was busy explaining the meaning of the ornaments on the tree like she did every year, even though no one listened. My dad had just opened a bottle of that cheap champagne he always bought because it looked expensive. Emma was texting someone under the table. Probably Zach, her boyfriend, who got a stocking even though they'd been dating for 3 weeks. I was the one who'd bought the stocking. I was the one who'd filled it. I was the one who'd paid for everything. The lights flickered once. Then again. Then off, just for a second. And then came the beep. The oven shut off. What is going on? Dad muttered, standing up, glass in hand. He opened the kitchen door. Cold air rushed in. The house ran on electric heating. And now it was off. That's weird, Mom said, already checking the fuse box. Uncle Sean turned to me. Didn't you say you were covering the bills this month? I looked up, still calm, still seated. I thought I was just the guy who wires the money. Emma's eyes snapped to mine. For the first time all day, she looked nervous. You're joking. I didn't answer. The turkey was still half raw inside. The stuffing undone. The champagne went warm in the glasses as the room chilled. The music cut out. The silence wasn't peaceful. It was loaded. Because this wasn't just about a holiday gone cold. This was years. Years of paying. Years of covering. Years of flying home with gifts, pretending I wasn't exhausted, pretending it was my pleasure. Years of being the guy who wires the money. Who shows up when things fall apart. Who gets a silent nod instead of a thank you. And now? Now they'd said it out loud. So I just smiled, soft and tired, and waited. They had no idea this wasn't the worst part. This was just the first match. The fire hadn't even started yet. It started long before the turkey went cold. It started with every little time I said, "Sure, I got it," when they forgot their wallets, maxed out their cards, or claimed they were just waiting for a deposit. It started with me wiring $300 here, $1,200 there, always small enough to not feel like a loan, but big enough to cover what they should have been responsible for. But Christmas? That was just the moment it broke. 2 weeks before the lunch, I got a call from my mother. "Hi, sweetheart. Emma's been really struggling lately. The heating bill came in, and it's a lot. And your father's medication isn't covered by insurance anymore. Would you mind helping? Just for this month?" I didn't argue. I just said, sure. I transferred $2,100 that evening. No one replied. The next day, Emma posted a story on Instagram, a slow pan of a cozy living room with fairy lights and captioned, "Love this time of year, nothing better than home and family." She tagged Dad. She tagged Mom. She tagged Zach. She didn't tag me. No one ever tagged me. A week later, Dad sent me a message. "Champagne this year is on you. Yeah? I know you're the one with the big job. IT and all." I wired another $600. And I bought the champagne myself. I shipped it express so it'd arrive on time. The only message I got was a thumbs-up emoji. 3 days before Christmas, Emma came to my flat. I live in a 1-bedroom apartment 20 minutes from their house. Not because I want to, but because I need the distance. It's the only space where I don't feel like a wallet with legs. She walked in like she owned it. No hello. No small talk. Do you have those printouts? For the gifts? I need to swap the tags. Also, Zach wants his name on the Apple Watch. He paid for it, obviously. He didn't. I did. I paid for the Apple Watch. I paid for the Dyson hairdryer for Mom. For the whiskey collection for Uncle Sean. For the spa voucher that my dad claimed he bought as a surprise for my mother. I paid for all of it. I said nothing. She took the receipts, said, "You're the best," in a tone that made it clear she didn't believe it, and left. Then came the messages. The family WhatsApp group had been dead for months. I muted it a year ago when the only thing they ever sent were Minion memes and guilt trips. But on December 21st, it exploded. It started with a video. A short clip, posted by my father. Emma and Zach decorating the tree. Mom handing out cookies. My dad filming them all like he was directing a feel-good Netflix special. The caption? Family is everything. I watched it twice. Then I saw the comments. Cousin Dana, love this. Aunt Lorraine, beautiful family, Uncle Sean. Wish I was there with you all. And then, under the video, Emma replied, "This year is about the real ones." I didn't respond. Instead, I checked the group's media archive. Dozens of photos. All taken over the past month. Dinners, planning sessions, shopping days. Me? Not in a single one. Even though I paid for every single item in those pictures. Then, the tipping point. Christmas morning, 10:07 a.m. Emma posted a TikTok. It was a skit. Her pretending to be the sibling who never shows up, complete with messy hair, a hoodie, a mug labeled broke, and a caption. When you only hear from your brother once a year, aka when he wires you money, hashtag relatable, hashtag black sheep who pays. It got over 12,000 views in a day. I saw people laughing in the comments. I am that brother. IT guy strikes again. She said what we're all thinking. She didn't tag me, but she didn't have to. The comments did. But he's always hiding. Probably some kind of weirdo. Always hiding. Does he even speak? Yeah, but keep him around for the bank transfers. That same evening, I got a private message from someone I didn't recognize. Zach's sister. Her name was Clara. We'd never spoken. Her message was simple. Hey, just wanted you to know Emma said she's using your money to pay off her credit card before her credit score crashes. Zach doesn't know. You didn't hear it from me. I stared at it for a long time. I opened my banking app. There it was. $1,900 transferred to Emma's utilities account on December 16th. Utilities. Right. I didn't eat much during Christmas lunch. I listened to them talk around me. Not to me. Mom, Zach fixed the curtain rail yesterday. Such a handyman. Emma, he's amazing. You know, not all men just sit on laptops all day and call that a job. Dad, exactly. Back in my day, we built things. Not like IT robots. Uncle Sean. Tap, tap, tap. More laughter. More food. More wine. And in that moment, something in me went very, very still. I didn't need revenge. I didn't need an apology. I needed them to feel the absence of what they were too arrogant to notice was keeping them afloat. And that was coming. I had everything ready. They thought the oven shutting off was bad? They hadn't seen what was next. December 25th, 5:43 p.m. The turkey was raw in the center. The oven had cut off almost an hour earlier, but no one said a word about it now. The silence had mutated. It wasn't awkward anymore. It was dangerous. Heavy. Like everyone knew something terrible was about to happen but couldn't name it yet. I stood up from the table. I need 5 minutes, I said, and walked out. No one tried to stop me. I went to the guest room, closed the door, and opened my laptop. On the desktop was a folder labeled Family Stuff. Inside, screenshots, bank receipts, voice notes, and one surprise I hadn't told anyone about. An audio file. I came back with the laptop under my arm. The room was dim now. No lights, no heat. Mom had lit 3 emergency candles and tried to make it cozy, but it looked like a seance. Fitting. I placed the laptop at the center of the table like a tray of truth. You all have 5 minutes too, I said. They looked up, confused. Then I clicked play. The first audio was Emma's voice. I had saved the call, just in case I ever needed to remind myself why I stepped away. If he doesn't send it by Friday, I'll just say he threatened me. He always backs off when it gets serious. Her voice, clear. Cold. Sharp. What is this? She asked. Voice trembling now. I didn't answer. Just played the next one. A WhatsApp voice message forwarded by Clara. Emma again, laughing. He's so pathetic. Like, he still thinks he's family. He wired Zach's PlayStation. That's how stupid he is. Zach looked like he'd been punched. You said you bought it. You weren't supposed to hear that, Emma whispered. Then the third file. My dad. Voice low. Angry, drunk. I don't care if he's your son. He's not my priority. He's a function. Like a faucet. Turn him on when we need him. Off when we don't. My mother gasped. Dad turned pale. He opened his mouth, but no words came. Uncle Sean tried to defuse it with a laugh. Okay, this is going too far. Let's all just sit down. That was the first time I raised my voice. He sat. I pulled out a printed spreadsheet, laid it on the table. This is every wire I've sent in the last 3 years. Every rent payment, every heating bill, every gift. Over $68,000. I never asked for it back. But now I'm asking for something else. Emma stood up. This is crazy. You're attacking us on Christmas. I opened another tab. It was her TikTok. I downloaded it in case she deleted it. I hit play. There she was, hoodie, coffee mug, mocking me to 12,000 strangers. Explain that, I said. Explain the black sheep who pays. She sat down slowly, face blank. Then I turned to Dad. You call me a faucet. You made me pay for the dinner I wasn't even invited to last year. You made fun of my job in front of your friends, again and again and again. Tell me, where does it end? He didn't speak. I reached into my bag and took out a flash drive. You remember that loan application you filed in 2021? The one with the cosigner? That wasn't your wife's signature. It was mine. Forged. Now he looked up, real fear in his eyes. I continued. I filed a report last week. The loan is under review. Your credit is frozen. You'll be hearing from the fraud unit in 2 weeks. My mother's voice cracked. You said you'd forgiven that. You said I was just the guy who wires the money. I interrupted. So I stopped wiring it. And now the oven's off. The house is cold. And you don't even know what cold feels like. Yet. Then, a knock on the door. No one moved. I went to open it. And in walked Clara, Zach's sister. She had a printed folder under one arm. Emma froze. Clara looked around the room like she was in a courtroom. Calm. Prepared. Ruthless. I thought it was time you all heard what Emma's been doing with everyone's money, she said. This isn't just about your brother. It's about everyone. Zach included. She placed the folder on the table. Opened it. Inside, screenshots of Emma's fake invoices. Messages where she told Clara she might as well use Zach's account while he's too stupid to check it. A picture of Emma's real credit card balance. Over $14,000 in debt. Emma tried to laugh. This is crazy. She's just jealous. She's obsessed with me. Clara pulled out a voice recording. Emma's voice again. I could tell Zach anything. He'd believe me. He's like a golden retriever with abs. Zach stood up. He looked at Emma for 5 full seconds. Then walked out the door. Never looked back. Emma didn't chase him this time. Silence. No one spoke. No one cried. It was past crying. It was demolition. Finally, I stood. I'm done, I said. Not just with the transfers. With you. All of you. My dad stood too. Don't you dare walk away from us like you're. I turned to him. I'm not walking. I'm deleting. This number? Gone. This house. Not my concern. Emma's tuition? Cancelled. Heating? Cancelled. My presents? Permanently cancelled. My mother whispered something. Something like please. Or why? I didn't care anymore. Then I turned to Emma. One last time. You said I wasn't family. That I was just the guy who wires the money. Fine. But starting today, you'll learn what life looks like when the wire cuts both ways. And I left. No hugs. No forgiveness. No second thoughts. Just the sound of my own steps in the cold. And the knowledge that every candle in that room would burn out. And they'd have to sit in the dark they created. I didn't go back to my apartment that night. I went to a co-working space. I kept a subscription to downtown. It had fast Wi-Fi, good coffee, and, more importantly, silence. I opened my laptop, plugged in my portable SSD, and created a folder titled, For Everyone Who Asked Where I Went. Inside, I dropped everything. Screenshots of the WhatsApp messages, the ones where Emma mocked me, where my dad called me a faucet, where my mom typed, he's not cut out for family life. Audio clips of Emma plotting her lies. Of my dad dehumanizing me in 3 short sentences. Of my mother laughing in the background like it was a sitcom. The TikTok video. The loan document with my forged signature. A side-by-side comparison of the Apple Watch receipt and Emma's "Thank you, Zach" post. And finally, a spreadsheet. $68,480.74 in transfers over 3 years. I zipped it. Uploaded it. Then I opened Facebook, which I hadn't used in months, and wrote one simple caption. If I'm just the guy who wires the money, consider the wires cut. P.S. Here's what family looks like behind the fairy lights. Link to folder. No hashtags. No emojis. Just silence. Until it exploded. By morning, I had 192 unread DMs. Most were strangers. Some were old classmates. Some, shockingly, were extended family members I hadn't spoken to in years. Thank you for saying what we never dared to. I always wondered why you looked so dead inside in those Christmas photos. I cut off my brother last year. I thought I was the crazy one. I'm not. Neither are you. It went viral. Emma deleted all her socials by noon. Then she reactivated them and posted a black square with white text. Some stories are twisted to fit a victim's narrative. She disabled comments. Dad posted a Facebook status around 2 p.m. My son has decided to betray our private life for likes. Family used to mean loyalty. Pray for us. It got 7 likes. 5 from people I blocked years ago. 2 from burner accounts. One of them, I later confirmed, was Emma's. Mom texted me at 4:37 p.m. I don't know why you're doing this. You're hurting us all. I replied. For the first time, I'm not. Then came the interviews. A small blog picked it up. Then a podcast reached out. Then a YouTube creator with 500K subscribers. They all wanted to talk to the guy who walked out of his own family Christmas and took the oven with him. I declined most, but I agreed to one. A 37-minute interview. Video off. Voice modulated slightly for privacy. Just me, a microphone, and a list of receipts. It got 800,000 views in 3 days. My LinkedIn doubled in followers. 2 companies reached out for freelance contracts. I accepted one. A remote contract with a UK-based firm. Flexible hours. High pay. 0 contact with anyone outside the task list. Perfect. Then, I posted a final update. A clean, sharp photo of a white envelope. Caption. Today, I signed off the final payment on my new place. 2-bedroom flat. No roommates. No ghosts. No guilt. Paid in full. In silence. Underneath it, a comment from Clara. Proud of you. You rewired more than just money. I pinned it. The next day, Emma sent me an email. Subject, closure. Body. I've been advised not to talk to you anymore. But I just want you to know, you could have come to me first instead of blowing everything up. You ruined Christmas. You ruined the family. I didn't respond. I archived it. Then I blocked her. Mom tried to FaceTime me on the 27th. I declined. Then I removed her from my iCloud family sharing. Dad left a voicemail on the 29th. It started with "You ungrateful fool" and ended in static. I saved it, just in case. Then I changed everything. New number. New address. New emergency contact. The apartment building had one of those touchscreen directories in the lobby. I asked management to update my listing. Instead of my name, I gave them 2 words. Not available. No buzzer. No forwarding. No point. Let them stand in the hallway and guess. I wasn't the guy who wires the money anymore. I was the guy who finally cut the line. I used to wonder what I'd say if I ever got the last word. If I'd scream. Or cry. Or finally ask, why wasn't I ever enough? Turns out, I didn't have to say anything. Silence did the job better. It's been 3 months. 3 beautiful, peaceful, wonderfully silent months. No late-night calls. No messages starting with, "Hey, quick favor." No requests masked as emergencies. No Emma. No family group chat. Not even a single meme. Sometimes I wake up and check my phone, expecting to see some fire to put out, some crisis to fix. But all I see now is a list of deliveries, work emails, Spotify notifications, and maybe a text from Clara. She sends memes now. The good kind. No yellow minions. No guilt. My flat looks different. Plants. A coffee machine I actually use. A painting I bought just because it was blue and strange and had no meaning. It felt like freedom. I don't wire money anymore. I wire code. I wire contracts. I wire things that build something for me. I don't answer unknown numbers. I don't open emails with urgent in the subject line. I changed my emergency contact to myself. Because I finally realized I'm not in crisis anymore. They are. Emma tried one last move. She emailed Clara, thinking they still talked. Wrote, I heard he got promoted. Must be nice. Funny how people change once they cut off their roots. Clara screenshotted it. Sent it to me with one sentence. Rotten roots don't grow trees. I didn't reply, but I laughed for a long time. A week ago, I walked past a cafe near my old neighborhood. In the window, a small chalkboard sign caught my eye. Family discount, 15% off if you bring a relative. Cute. I walked in, got a coffee, paid full price. Then I asked if I could leave a business card on their board. The barista smiled and said sure. I took out one of the new cards I printed for the fun of it. It said, Name, just the guy who wires the money. Title, permanently unavailable. Motto, I don't do transfers anymore. I pinned it to the corkboard and walked out. Didn't look back. Didn't need to. Sometimes, people ask if I miss them. I don't. I miss the idea of them. The version of my family that never existed outside my imagination. The version where I was loved for who I was, not for what I gave. But now, I've made peace with the truth. I wasn't the broken one. I wasn't the selfish one. I wasn't the villain. I was just a mirror they refused to look into. And when I stopped reflecting their needs, they smashed it. So no, I'm not angry. I'm free. I'm the guy who doesn't pick up the phone. I'm the guy who built a life they don't get to enter. I'm the guy who used to wire the money. Now I wire walls, boundaries, silence, and I sleep like a king behind them.